At roughly 1:30 in the morning on May 21st, a guy walked up to a Pokemon card store in Lake Park, Florida, picked up a rock, and threw it at the front window. The window won. It was hurricane resistant glass, built to survive a category 4. It was not going to lose to a rock and a man's optimism. So here's what a normal person does at that point. A normal person goes home. A normal person sits in the car and quietly reconsiders the entire trajectory of their life. This guy went home and came back 90 minutes later with a chainsaw, a battery powered chainsaw. He cut a triangle into the hurricane glass, a clean little geometric triangle like he was being graded on it, climbed through the hole, and left with $12,000 in cardboard. And the way the cops caught him is somehow dumber than the chainsaw. I'll get there. It is worth the wait. I want to talk about why a stack of Pokemon cards is now a thing you commit a felony with power tools to get. Because the chainsaw guy is funny, but the chainsaw guy is also a symptom. So stick with me. Okay, the details, because the details are the whole thing here. The store is called Collection Realm. Trading cards, collectibles, the usual. The suspects, a 33-year-old named Clayton Warren, and on the night of the 21st, security footage catches a masked man dressed head to toe in black walk up to the storefront a little after 1:30 a.m. and try to smash the window with a rock. The window, again, is hurricane glass. It's designed to take a 2x4 going 70 miles an hour and basically shrug. So the rock does nothing, less than nothing. The rock mostly just makes him look stupid in front of a camera he apparently forgot was there. Now, this is the fork in the road. This is the exact moment the universe is begging him to quit. He does not quit. He leaves, and 90 minutes later, he's back. And this time, he's got a battery-powered chainsaw, handheld, the kind of thing you trim a hedge with, and he uses it to cut a triangular hole straight through the hurricane glass that just beat a rock. Which, credit where it's due, is problem solving. Deeply misapplied problem solving, but it's initiative. He crawls through the triangle, starts grabbing sealed boxes, sleeves singles out of the display cases, bolt cards by the handful, stuffs it into 2 bags, and crawls back out the same hole, roughly 12 grand gone. And here's where it stops being a comedy and quietly becomes a true crime episode. Somewhere in the sawing, he cut himself, and he left blood at the scene right next to the hole. So now there's a chainsaw-shaped DNA sample sitting on a piece of broken glass with functionally his name on it. He brought a chainsaw to a building full of cameras, and then he bled on the evidence. I need you to sit with the order of operations. Rock first, chainsaw second, bleed third. Be so for real. It's like watching a man fail upward into a conviction. So let's pull back because the easy joke is Florida man chainsaw ha, and sure, but that's the lazy version. The real question is how we got to a place where a stack of Pokemon cards is worth breaking into a building with a power tool. $12,000 in cards from one small shop. That's not a guy stealing a toy. That's a guy hitting a commodities locker that happens to smell like a hobby store. And it didn't get that way by accident. For the last few years, the value of these cards has gone straight up. New sealed product gets cleared off shelves the day it drops. Bots, scalpers, resellers, people who never opened a pack in their life and never intend to. The Pokemon Company prints a fixed run, demand is bottomless, and the gap in the middle is where the money lives. A booster box that retails for $100 resells for $300-400. A single card graded and sealed in a plastic slab by a company like PSA jumps from 50 cents to 4 figures because a number on a label said it was mint. None of that has anything to do with playing a game. It's an asset class wearing a Pikachu costume. And once something is an asset class, it attracts asset class crime. That's just physics. This is not one weird guy, this is a wave. Same state, earlier this year, a man hit Target and Walmart something like 75 times for sports and trading cards. Ran the self-checkout trick where you can scan a packet of taco seasoning while you're bagging a box of cards worth $200 and flipped about 40 grand of it online. Another guy walked into GameStops with a magnetic unlocking device, the kind employees use, and cleaned out $3,500 in magic cards. Another one knocked over a Target for cards, fled, hit 2 separate vehicles on the way out, and the cops found 100 counterfeit 20s in his car for good measure. And out in California, a guy got robbed at gunpoint for $300,000 in Pokemon cards in a parking lot. Line those up next to each other, the chainsaw isn't the outlier. The chainsaw is just the loudest one in a room that's been getting crowded for a while. When the card shop in your town needs the same security as a jewelry store, that's the tell. The hobby quietly became a target and nobody sent out a memo. Let me drop the bit for just a quick second because there's a piece of this that actually gets to me. Somewhere there's a guy who owns a little card shop. Maybe it's this guy in Lake Park. He didn't open that store to run a vault. He opened it because at some point in his life, he was a kid at a kitchen table who tore open a pack hit something shiny, and felt like you'd won the lottery. That feeling is the entire reason any of these shops exist. And now his morning looks like this. He shows up, there's a triangle cut out of the front of his store, his display cases are empty, there's dried blood on the floor, and he's on the phone pricing out armored glass and cameras good enough to hold up in court. He's not running a hobby shop anymore. He's running a small business that got reclassified as a high-value target without anyone asking him. And the kids, the actual kids, the ones this was all supposedly for, they're priced out before they even start. You can't casually collect a thing that costs $400 a box and lives behind locked glass. The pack at the kitchen table is gone. It got bought, sleeved, slabbed, and locked up. And now it gets stolen with a chainsaw. That's the part that's very sad under all the Florida man noise. The cheapest, dumbest, purest kind of fun turned into something people guard with DNA evidence. It was $4 and a feeling. We turned it into a heist. Okay, so moment over, back to the chainsaw guy because he has not finished embarrassing himself. Remember how I said the way they caught him is dumber than the chainsaw? Here you go. A license plate reader caught a white Jeep Grand Cherokee near the store right around the time of the break-in, registered to him, strike one. Then the cops line up the surveillance and notice the masked burglar is wearing a black Adidas hat and clear frame glasses, the exact outfit the same guy wore when he walked into the store, unmasked 2 days earlier, to shop for a couple of hours. So strike two, he cased the place by being a regular. And strike three, my personal favorite, he was in the store's customer database. The owner already knew who he was. You broke in with a chainsaw, bled on the floor, drove your registered car past the cameras, wore your shopping outfit to the burglary, and you were already in the loyalty system. They probably had your email. This is a guy who left more evidence than a written confession. And look, if you spent this whole video feeling superior, fair, but it's the same energy as the man a couple years back who tried to grab 30 grand in cards and got tackled by 2 MMA coaches who happened to be standing in the shop, or the geniuses who tried to pay for hundreds of thousands of dollars in cards with bags full of cut up paper. The cards make people lose their minds. It's a whole genre at this point. And if you collect because you actually like the things. The second it turns into a portfolio you cut yourself open for, you've lost the plot, and so is everybody selling to you. If this video found you while you were avoiding something more productive, good. That's the target audience. If you got something out of it, subscribing's free and it helps more than you'd think. I'm not going to beg for it. And I want a real answer down in the comments. What's the dumbest thing you've ever watched somebody do to get something they could have just walked in and bought? Card shop, garage sale, doesn't matter. Give me the story and I'll see you in the next one. Cyler out.